Okay, we'd like to welcome Davis Love III into the interview room, our tournament host at the RSM Classic. Davis, if we can get some comments on this tournament that is near and dear to your heart, and especially this year, more riding on this tournament than ever with the top 125 in the FedEx Cup being finalized.
Yeah, just excited to get it kicked off. You know, I always look forward to Wednesday night. You know, big Pro-Am draw party tonight. Obviously, a lot going on. We actually started earlier this year, Friday, last week with festivities. So I got my golf shoes on. I'm excited to start playing golf on Thursday morning, and get past the Wednesday part of it. I remember before I was a tournament host, we had a tournament. The tournament director's always saying, as soon as I can get to Wednesday night and hand it to the PGA Tour, I'm happy. So I'm in that boat now. I'm ready for the PGA Tour to start playing golf, and I can get in that mode. But, yeah, the buzz now is kind of coming around that, hey, guys are playing for their card or just on the range with Justin Parsons, and, you know, he's going to help some of his guys, you know, get to certain levels, whatever that is, and playing for the next 10, playing to keep your job. It's an exciting week. So great storylines, and I'm excited to get out there and mix it up with them. Last year, unfortunately, I missed. Last minute, I pulled out with a wrist injury. So I'm excited to actually get to play this year.
So speaking of that, what's the state of your game?
My body feels really good. I don't know about my game, but I'm trending kind of in the right direction the last week. I had to knock some rust off, and I'm feeling better about it. Obviously, I'd rather tomorrow be 70 and calm and get a good practice round in, but it'll be a practice round, I guess, for Thursday because it looks like the weather's the same Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I am excited to play. Obviously, got kind of a luck of a draw pairing, and that's going to be a lot of fun to play with the Carolina guys. And as I said, get back on the golf course. And I'm really focused on getting my game ready for next year, so I don't have a lot of expectations this week, but having fun playing. 790, so I'm chipping away at the Mark Brooks record.
All right. We'll start here with Gary and then up to Kathy.
Hey, Davis. If this tournament fills this role from going forward, if you recall, Disney used to have this spot, and guys were grinding, and one guy told me one time that he wasn't able to enjoy, you know, Disney World because he was – I guess the idea is to be safely ahead, right?
I've been in that position at Disney too. Like you need to get back to playing better and keep your job. And so I saw a list of 6 or 8 guys from Lee Patterson that have played every tournament in the fall. You know, you don't want to come in here worn out and grinding and trying to keep your job and not get to enjoy the islands. But it is a more relaxing place. You know, I think I played well at Hilton Head because it wasn't the Masters. It was more relaxing and comfortable, and my family was there and happy. So sometimes when the family feels good, you play better. So, but yeah, we like our spot. We like the excitement. I've said it a lot. We've been 3 different types of tournaments here, and we'll have to play this one a few times to see where it shakes out. But we're excited. We got some great top players, and we got a whole bunch of great new young guys, and we got guys playing for position, and I think it's going to be a great week.
Payne told me one time that they should have played better in May.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was it.
I'm playing to keep my card too.
Yeah.
If I don't start playing better, they're going to send me home. So
the other one I had for you is 14 years. Same sponsor, the same course, you know, different dates, but, you know, the same structure, the same charity. As successful as it's been, especially with this relationship with the sponsor, what do you think the next 14 years will be? Where do you see this tournament going forward now?
Well, there's a lot of things that we're certain of, and the Davis Love Foundation, which is a lot of people, not just Davis and Robin, and the RSM company, and our other sponsors like Yamaha and M3Com, they're all in the same boat that we want to keep giving money to charity. The thing that people miss and everything that's going on in the business of the PGA Tour right now, all these conversations about ownership and schedule and governance and all these things, these tournaments were formed, one, for people to watch professional golf, but in the same level of importance is to raise money for charity. we don't want this tournament, whatever it is, we're going to raise money for charity. If you get FedEx points or not, we're going to raise money. We're going to raise money for charity. Sea Island loves the week before Thanksgiving. RSM loves the week before Thanksgiving. Their clients love coming here. This is a home run for our little town, for our community, for our sponsors, and we don't want that to change. We will work with the tour to make this tournament better and better. I remember Tim Fincham sitting out there in front of the lodge on some presentation. He goes, "Well, Davis knows that there's 4 or 5 things they can do better next year." I was like, "Okay, what are those?" But we want to get better every year and get bigger and give more money to charity. But we don't want to leave the PGA Tour. I mean, I was brought up in it. I watched a PGA Tour event in my backyard in Atlanta, and then it turned into the Players Championship. This is, our life, our culture, and we don't want it to change.
Okay.
Davis, a couple of Champions Tour players are here, Stuart Sink and Patrick Harrington, and of course you, although you've been so injured, you've been mostly off. How does that make you feel about your tournament, that they would come and give up a week that could be a week off to play and participate?
Well, I try to convince Stuart that he should stay on the regular tour. He's playing so well, not mess with us on the Champions. And I'm sure some other guys feel that way as well. And then Padraig, I think it was at Jim Furyk's tournament, came up to me and said, "I want to play. Do you think I'm going to need an exemption?" And I said, "Well, I'm not that smart, but I'll figure it out." And then we started watching it, and he obviously got in easily, but we protected him. We knew we wanted Padraig to play. It's exciting. I mean, it doesn't matter how old they are. Big name guys, and we love having them. And but it's nice that guys want to play. And obviously, there's 20 guys that asked us for spots that we just didn't have spots for. So it's nice to. It's not nice for me to have to not ask them to play, but it's nice that people want to play, and we have that much interest. And again, we got a great group, great field.
All right, let's go Mark and then Cameron.
Davis, I think you'd made some comments recently about the state of things on the tour with the framework agreement and everything else. Where do you think that's at, and how confident are you that something gets done?
Well, I think we're in a really, really good spot. I know sometimes I say more than I should, so I'm going to try not to. But we're in a really good spot. Jay is doing an unbelievable job of rallying people to work together. I think obviously there's always going to be differences of opinions, and they had a huge board meeting yesterday, and I've never seen a board work so hard. I've never seen players work so hard. You see a few guys' names in the paper, but there's a lot of guys, top players, all the way down the list that are putting a lot of time and effort into this, and I think that's a good thing. And simply, we really don't need to change anything on the PGA Tour running event side. We can always get better, but we have an incredible. All of a sudden now, there's a whole bunch of people that want to invest in our business. So I think we're in a really good place. I think I keep saying it. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we have to be patient. I think there was an excitement of dropping the lawsuits that got wrapped up in talking about business that maybe shouldn't have been talked about. But the deal that got done of dropping the lawsuits and looking people in the eye and saying, "Hey, we need to figure this out," was a massive, massive deal. And people really don't understand that because they've moved past that into a PR problem. But now they're heading in the right direction, and I'm 100% confident it's going to have a great outcome. I just don't know when.
All right, let's go Cam and then Rex.
Hey, Davis. Camila Villegas just won on Sunday. It was a really emotional victory. It was actually the second week in a row that it was a very emotional victory on the PGA Tour. I was just wondering, how hard is it to play with emotion? Did you ever try to channel emotion, or do you have to just try and forget it and then think about all that stuff after the 72nd hole?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to not think about winning. I think when people say, "Oh, that guy choked," well, he was just thinking about results. And so not only trying to win a PGA Tour event gets you thinking about results, but things that have happened in your past, the emotions of coming out, just get in the way of playing golf. So I tried to put my head down not look at people and get focused on playing golf. And but to see, the emotion come out, you see how important it is to guys. And we were watching, we protect people with exemptions that we want in, and all of a sudden, looked like on Friday, Camille was going to get him a spot, the top tens or a win. So we were watching it very close, and he's just always been one of my favorites, and he's been through so much. So I was thrilled for him. And, I remember Joey Sindelar winning at Wells Fargo and saying, I have a job for 2 more years. And that line has always stuck with me. Camille's got a job for 2 or 3 more years, and he's a winner on the PGA Tour again. So it was very, very exciting. It doesn't matter where it is. Obviously, I've won some of the biggest tournaments on the tour, and I've won some of the smallest tournaments on the tour. But winning is really, really hard, and I'm thrilled he's back in the winner's circle again.
All right, let's go to Rex.
Davis, Zach was just in here talking about sort of what it's been like since the Ryder Cup and how, as a captain, you sort of unpack either with a win or a loss. You're constantly thinking about the things you could have done better or things that might have worked. What was the most challenging part for you? You've done it both ways.
It's just challenging to know that going in that you really can just give them the best chance you can to succeed, but you want them to win. And you can't really just say, well, you know what, I did the best I could, and they lost. You'd never have that feeling. You always feel like, we were talking about the left hole location on 17 on Sunday at Medina yesterday. It still bothers me that I didn't force Kerry Hay to put it on the left. We wanted it on the left, and he said, oh, it's always on the right. Yeah, go ahead, whatever. If we'd have done Davis would have done a few things different 2012, we would have probably won. You can't say that for sure, but I still feel that, and it bothers me. And Brant Snedeker still apologizes, and that's the way we feel about it. But, yes, that was a fun Ryder Cup. And 97 at Valderrama, we went for a practice trip. We had a blast, except for the rain. We had a blast, but we lost. But you still have to understand that we took a trip with Tom Kite as our captain, and it was a hell of a week. So Zach's dealing with the ups and downs of that. And it will, if he's the next 3 Ryder Cup captains and he wins all 3 of them, that will never go away, that we lost in Rome. So it's tough. And hopefully this fall or this winter we can sit down and talk about it, because I haven't really gotten to spend much time with him since.
All right, Sean.
Davis, I feel like right now there's never been a more popular time for people to talk about policy board meetings. It's a very popular topic, and you've been in your fair share of policy board meetings. And right now the board has a couple different people on it that don't necessarily see the world in the same way, to quote Rory. I'm curious if that setting, the policy board meeting, is that an easy one to find compromise or a difficult one?
Well, I got my first call about the policy board meeting at 7:30 this morning. So, yes. But the thing you got to understand is you need somebody in every walk of the PGA Tour. You need different views and opinions. I remember Charlie Hoffman just getting on me that I was running for the board again I was almost 50 years old. And, well, I was 50. And he goes, you realize you're going to be 50 years old while you're a board member? I go, yeah, I didn't ask to run for the board. The commissioner asked me to run for the board. And he goes, well, I'm not voting for you. I go, well, great. I'm not voting for me either. I'm voting for you. Because I knew Charlie Hoffman would be a great board member. But that being able for Charlie and I to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe this isn't right. What are you doing? And us to agree. And then we went into that, and what came out of Charlie being on the board is we play 2 golf courses here because Charlie challenged the PGA Tour. Why aren't we playing 2 golf courses in Vegas and these? Yeah, Charlie, that's a great idea. Why don't I do that? That's more money for charity, more playing opportunities for players. So you have to have Joe Ogilvy, and then you have to have Jay Haas and Brad Faxon. The mix is great. So we have Patrick Cantlay, who's one end of the spectrum, and then We have, Peter Malnati is looking at it from a completely, and then you have Adam Scott, nice and quiet and voice of reason. So it's great. And that's why we elect them the way we do, and why we have people run for the board. Pick these three guys to run. Gives the membership a choice. You can pick from these three guys. We don't force it down their throat. We give them an opportunity to pick who they want. And that's the Player Advisory Council's big. The trend down from that is really big. So, yeah, I like the diversity. Right now it's very, very, very diverse. And there's some arguments. We have arguments on our Zoom calls amongst ourselves. We think we get along, but that's how you get somewhere. Every board in the United States that runs a big company, they don't all agree. And they bring different things, different expertise. We all bring kind of a golf expertise, but now we're getting better, more active, whatever you want to call it, engaged board members, and I think that's great.
All right, Ron?
Hey, Davis. You were talking about the interest from private equity and other people investing in the tour. What is that? How do you see that looking, particularly from the consumer standpoint? What's it going to look like if all that comes to be?
It won't look any. That's the thing. It won't look any different at the RSM Classic or at the Heritage. It's going to be golf tournaments on TV, top players. The business of the PGA Tour. So we have a for-profit entity, the Tournament Players Club Network. So we have a business that runs, and people don't really pay much attention to it, and it creates a lot of dollars, and it comes back to the overall PGA Tour Inc. So we're just going to have some other entity, maybe, that hopefully makes a lot of money and comes back to the PGA Tour. So you're backstopping that we're relying on the sponsors in the economy. Now we could have a business that not only we're a partner in PGA Tour Superstores, for example. That's a great business for Arthur Blank, and we're a minority partner, and it's a great business for us. So that's the way it's business, and it's big. It could be really big business, and it could be other tours, obviously, now. So it won't change, though, what the fans watch on TV when they watch. Okay, we're going to start off at Kapalua, and we're going to play the Century. It's not going to change. It won't change that. Just hopefully it changes the purses.
Okay, over Adam.
Davis, how would you assess the first year of the fall in this way?
Well, to Cam's question, it's been exciting so far. It's been emotional. This is the big week, though. Like, is it really going to have this race to the card, race to? I think it's put a focus on how you get in the is it signature, elevated, designated, signature events.
This week it is.
Since I haven't played in them, so I don't know what they're called, but it puts a focus on what's happening next year. So I think the fall is working. Obviously, we've been in the unknown for a year plus, right? So we're glad it's here. We're glad we're playing it. And so far, I'm very happy with the fall. And ultimately, it comes down to the sponsors. Like, I think Bermuda just re-upped. Is that right? Yeah. And what does RSM say after 2025? That's the key thing. And so far, obviously, people are very happy with the way it's going, and the tour is delivering on what they promised a year ago.
Do you think the fall, 5 years down the road, 10 years, is going to look the way it looks now, or very different?
I would say no. Because it hadn't looked the same any 5-year period for maybe my whole career. So I don't know. You can't look that far ahead. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just continues to improve. They come up with new ideas. The wraparound was a completely new idea that we had never heard of before. So I think it's just going to continue to improve, but I don't know what that is.
On a different note, how has pace of play changed since you came on tour?
It really hadn't. I don't think. There's always been, when you play a full field, it's slow Thursday, Friday, and they put you in twosomes, and you feel like you can't keep up. You know, you go from really slow, nowhere to go when you make the turn. You know, like at Wiley, you know when you get to 10, you're going to have to wait on Thursday. You know, the guys are going to be stacked up going for the green. It's always been the same. They try really, really hard. One great old rules official in a board meeting said, the best we're going to do is speed up 15 minutes. Where you guys got to go. But we have to keep up with the group so it's fair for everybody. But it hadn't really changed. It's always going to be an issue. There's always going to be fast players and slow players. And, you know, I think we have a lot bigger fish to fry right now, but it's always good for the rules staff to stay on it.
All right, we've got time for one more, guys. Let's go to Jonathan.
Davis, during your heyday, you were one of the longest players on the PGA Tour, and I feel like you're probably a good person to speak on this because the USGA has been talking about the model local rule golf ball. I know there's been a lot of differing opinions on the ball, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on potentially bringing in a different golf ball for the PGA Tour?
Well, I think, again, as a longtime board member, we don't want two sets of rules no matter what. Bifurcation is a big word, but we don't want two sets of rules. Now, if there's a way, I think, and I've said this for a long time and talked to Mike Davis about it and a lot of other people in USGA meetings, if there's a way to do it with a driver, I'd be 100% for it. Jump face. I really don't have to pack about 10 driver heads when I go to tournament because mine don't crack. So I'm not getting a whole lot of spring, right? And then the guys that have to pack a bunch of driver heads, crack it, they're getting more advantage out of that jump. And so if you fix that, coefficient of restitution is another big word I learned a long time ago in a board meeting. If you didn't have that, then you wouldn't get an advantage. Like, why did Bryson try to start swinging so hard? Because he knew the faster he went, the more spring he got. And the next thing you know, he's going to have 200-mile-an-hour ball speed. So we can think about that and explore that. I haven't had anybody, smart people at Titleist or wherever, say, no, you're wrong. They're like, there could be another way to do it. But I think that's one thing to look at. But I hate, when do you break? Who plays with that ball? Do the amateurs have to play with that ball? Or if I come home to play with my buddies, do I have to play with that ball, or can I go back to the other ball? And switching didn't mean just, people don't understand, switch the ball. You have to switch every club in your bag to adjust to that ball. So practically, it would be very, very difficult. I'm going to go with Titleist. They really don't think that's a good idea. So let's try something else.
All right, Davis, we appreciate your time
All right,
as
thank
always.
you all.